fan and family, press that like button, subscribe and share as we wrap up these final days of summer. I decided let me try to get one more live by the poolside before it gets cold and they close the pool down. Come on in, press that like button, subscribe and share. As you all can tell, my voice is still a little raspy after attending the Claressa Shields versus fight. The highly skilled, great amateur background world champion Kate Scott came to the ATL with Claressa Shields, and Claressa Shields stopped. I got to see Bud Crawford, got to meet Bud Crawford. Salute Dale Riv in the building. Got to Got to meet Bud Crawford. Got to hang out with the celebrities. It was a great weekend of boxing. But now we need to start talking about some more things and keep this energy going. Ride the train of excitement for the sport of boxing. They're saying that Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury will be finalized. This is what I want to say. What we are witnessing right now is the changing of the guard, and the seasons are changing in the sport of boxing. As soon as you believe you have boxing figured out, something strange happens. A rising star pops up. A few years ago, 2 years to be exact, when it was rumors of Turkey Al-Sheikh coming into the sport, a few years ago, I remember people were up all in arms about the Muhammad Ali Act being changed, and the zone and different players coming into the sport of boxing. And I believe that hold on, family. Don't do that again. Don't do that again, okay? I believe we estimated wrong in the sport of boxing, family. We thought, some people thought. I remember I was on Champ's side a little while ago. There was this guy. It was two guys I used to always disagree with on the panel when I used to call in the Champ sides regularly. Those of you that know my story, you know why I was able to call in on a regular. Okay? But we're not going to go into that today. This is what we're going to go into. There was a guy by the name of Catman and Kamal. And these brothers' premise of the debate was this: because the old foundation of the sport of boxing has been around for so long, and they have gotten away with having their way for so long, there is no way that there will be change. And what we have found out, I argued, and my argument was right and exact. What I said was, because of what's going on in the sport of boxing, and you see the UFC, you see MMA rising to the top of combat sports at a pace that is almost scary. If you look at the state, this is what I said at that time. I said, if we all look at the state of boxing, and you look how boxing has had almost a 100-year head start in America, Over that. It's had over that. Over 100-year head start in America. And where we are right now with the best not fighting the best, fans not even wanting it to happen, these are the things that have opened up the gates of transition. These are the things that have opened up the gates for the seasons to change in the sport of boxing. Just a few years ago, if I told you that Anthony Joshua would be fighting Tyson Fury in Madison Square Garden, and Usyk, former undisputed heavyweight champ, will be fighting Deontay Wilder in the same year, you wouldn't have believed me. You would have said I was crazy. But guess what? I did say those things. I am the one who said, don't sleep on Wilder, because he might come back and have a fight with Usyk. And what did people tell me? Oh, coach, you're far off. You're just dreaming because you want Wilder to win. And that couldn't be further from the truth. This is where we are. Now, the question that we need to ask ourselves is, if Anthony Joshua beats Tyson Fury, then what? What does that do for the heavyweight division? If Tyson Fury beats AJ, then what? What does that do for the heavyweight era of boxing? Not only that, what does it say about us as Americans that the biggest heavyweight bout that we're going to have this year aren't even two Americans? That should give you some inclination into where we are heading in the sport. I was looking at the infamous picture that was taken on Saturday of Claressa Shields, Floyd Mayweather, Shakur Stevenson, and Bud Crawford all standing together. And when I'm realizing, I was looking in the crowd, and I said, hey, there go Keyshawn. Then I seen Hitchens. Hitchens is here too. And I'm sitting here, and I'm like, now I know that these fighters, excuse me, family, my voice is still a little raspy from over the weekend. But I'm looking at these guys, and I'm saying, I know they're watching Claressa. I know they're watching Claressa saying, damn, y'all know we should be the ones in here fighting our contemporaries. And all of the hypocrites, all of the naysayers, all of the bitter turncoats, they're saying, hey, man, she's fighting nobodies. Well, here's my question to you. You damn hypocrite. You double-minded, double-tongued, COINTELPRO boxing fans. Where were you all when Claressa Shields, salute Christina in the building, where were you all when Claressa Shields beat Hannah Gabriel? Where were you all? Matter of fact, let me show you how much you all changed and move the goalposts. Do you all remember when Claressa Shields was going at it with Layla Ali right before she signed that multi-fight deal? You all said, man, Claressa needs to stop fighting these bums, and she needs to fight Freyshawn Cruz. She needs to fight Hannah Gabriel. She needs to fight all of the Shadeja Green. Do you all remember that's what you said? Yes, you did. Don't try to change it now. That is what you all said. Well, watch this. The first fight she has on this deal, she fights Freyshawn Cruz again. A woman who has never been stopped. A woman who is also a lineal world champion. And she goes up in weight. And Freyshawn Cruz had the advantage because she's been fighting at a bigger weight longer than Claressa. Claressa succeeds. Then you all say, salute now to 86. Now watch this, family, because I'm going to go in timetable order. Then you hypocrites say, well, she can't stop nobody. She can't knock nobody out. She knocks out her first person at heavyweight. She drops Perkins. She has to chase Lonnie Daniels. This is the same Lonnie Daniels that put Shadeja Green into a coma. She put Shadeja Green into a coma, and Shadeja Green had a brain bleed and was in a coma for a few days. Not once did you double-minded, double-tongued, pro boxing fans say that Lonnie Daniels' gloves might be loaded. But since Claressa Shields TKO's Kate Scott, somebody that you all said was a nobody, now you all are accusing her of Glovegate. You all are the same people. You all are the same hypocrites. You all are the same tokens. You all are the same race fans. You all are the same self-hating, handkerchief head Negroes who didn't want to even ask for an investigation into Tyson Fury's glove issues, even though he has a history of glove cheating in the gym to cause punishment to his sparring partners. This is a day of separation. So we have to ask ourselves, oh yeah, we cooking. We have to ask ourselves, what does it do for the sport of boxing? Anthony Joshua versus Fury, Usyk versus Wilder, and Usyk drops the belts. There was this song that they used to play on I think the movie was called Don't Get Caught in South Central While Drinking Juice or something like that. Song by Joe. I think it was called What Your Man Won't Do, right? All of you diehards, you idol worshipers of some of these men, that should be you all's #1 song. You all should be running around singing What Your Man Won't Do. Because Claressa went down 30 pounds. And I look at Shakur standing next to Floyd and Claressa and Bud, and I say, one of these things don't look like the other. One of these things don't look like the other. These three people right here standing next to Shakur have chased greatness. Shakur is not a bad fighter. He just does not want to lose. And Shakur, you don't get to do that. Bud has the right to take a picture with Floyd and be compared to Floyd. Claressa has the right to be standing there next to Floyd. And then some of you say, oh, but coach, she fought a nobody. Shut up. You all were silent when she won 2 gold medals. You were silent when she beat Haney Gabriels. You were silent when she beat Savannah Marshall. And some of you would get on these panels and go in about Keyshawn this, Keyshawn that. Keyshawn still got Andy Cruz problems. Claressa was in the same boat as Keyshawn when it comes to an amateur beef. Yeah. So Claressa came straight into the pathway of Savannah Marshall. You got the best of me in the amateur? Cool. I'm going to get that lick back in the pros. And she did what you dudes love to say. Well, some of you women love to say they should have got it back in blood. Well, Claressa did that. And you all were silent. You all weren't talking about Claressa then. So now I'm starting to realize if you all can't deal with the fighter, you all tag team against the fighter. Boots Ennis, who is a great fighter, salute the Dirt Game boss. He is a great fighter, but I charge him. I charge him for teaming up, tag teaming with Canelo to help him prepare for Bud Crawford. That is inappropriate behavior. But he handled his business against Xander Zayas. This whole head-to-toe crew, tag teaming up against Devin Haney. Inappropriate behavior. Instead of one of you getting that work in, get it back in blood. Inappropriate behavior. Alicia Baumgartner and Amanda Serrano tag teaming on Claressa Shields instead of getting it back in blood. You see, everybody want to be called great. Everybody want to say that they are the baddest. that they are the meanest. Show enough. Am I the prettiest? Show enough. Am I the baddest mofo around? Show enough. But who am I? These are the questions we need to ask these fighters. Who are you? If you are the baddest, if you are the meanest, if you are the prettiest, if you got the biggest ego, if you that, prove it. Prove it. Some of you all are upset about the Claressa Shields video that I did. Listen to me and listen to me slowly when I say this. I don't give a damn how you feel about who I defend and who I appreciate on my channel. You can't do nothing. There it is. You can't do nothing. And those of you who see me outside and you see me at the fights, I'm not hiding. I'm going to stand up for my people and defend them. Let me say this. Let me point out more hypocrisy of the See, I can do a live almost every day on these COINTELPRO parasitic boxing fans. You all never stand up on your word. You switched up on Brian Norman Jr. when he didn't pass the test. You switched up on Shadeja Green when she lost to Lonnie Daniels. You all switch up every single time somebody doesn't work out with beating the person that you don't like. I know you don't like that. I know you don't like that type of truth, but I don't give a damn. I don't care. Claressa Shields, Devin Haney, they're moving the sport forward. You see, nobody this weekend was able to come forward and call Claressa Shields a coward or call black American fighters cowards based off of how Claressa Shields handled her business. From the black national anthem, Lift Every Voice being played, all the way to her TKO stoppage of Kate Scott. Nobody can come forward and throw smut on our name because she represented. Shout out to ATL for that. Most of the hate that Claressa's still getting even after are from our own people and habitual line-stepping journalists and commentators that you all have made feel comfortable. Claressa Shields does her thing, and I see one of these boxing content creators have Hannah Gabriels on the show the next day. And there was a few brothers in the chat trying to check it, calling them haters and calling them out, saying, hey, but we should be celebrating no matter how you feel on the performance that this one of our fighters put on. But this is what happens. So how does this move the sport forward? How does Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury finally fighting in Madison Square Garden, New York, how does it change a thing? AJ better be careful. That's all I'm going to say. AJ should have got that fight in Atlanta. See, ATL is going to be where a fighter, a black American or black fighter, period, can come and get a fair shot. That's what they're saying, Del Rev. That's what they're saying. They're saying that Fury, the fight with Fury and Joshua is being finalized as we speak for Madison Square Garden, New York. Report from Source Boxing that I just picked up. And we're going to double check on this, but we do know regardless if it's in the U.S. or if it's in Madison Square Garden, regardless, we know that fight, they're trying to make it happen. That is something that we know. See? Also, let me say this. If Tyson Fury is allowed back into the States, and this is allowed to happen, this is another slap in the face of all of our fighters who call themselves looking up to the New York State Athletic Commission The California State Athletic Commission. See, this is to let you all know, yeah, we know that there's controversy about this guy coming in and cheating as a foreigner, cheating against one of our fighters, but we don't care. But we don't care. And that's something, damn it, you all better see what's going on. Salute Delano in the building. This is just what I was telling Mag. When Mag 7 and I were having our discussion, and he called in, and let me say this, y'all can say what you want. People rarely call in to my channel to go against the truth that I'm speaking. But Mag 7, he had the heart. Click that link. And I opened his eyes up. Open his eyes up to help him see that if your favorite fighter is Tank, Claressa Shields just showed again that our fighters can come to the ATL and make something happen for themselves. Because the Georgia State Athletic Commission were about to be done with it after the Jake Paul versus Tank thing fell through. They said, hey man, maybe we're not ready to start bringing these boxers in. If they're not really going to fight each other and try to put on these exhibitions, F that. If you want to come to Atlanta and you want to put on a boxing event, it's going to be a real event. A real boxer is going to go against a real boxer. A reality TV star is going to go against a reality TV star. But we're not putting on any clown shows. That's what the Georgia State Athletic Commission said. That's what they said. Now, y'all can get mad all you want. I don't care. You all who are talking about, oh, but Claressa did this, but Devin Haney did this, but Wilder's finished. What is your favorite fighter doing right now? You know what they're talking about, fam? They're talking about Keyshawn and Frank Martin fighting. Come on, y'all. What are we talking about? What are we talking about right now? I can't. I don't know what you're saying. So we're gonna get you up out of here. I don't know what you're saying. You could be saying anything to get me flagged. Think about it. Think about it. Hasn't Frank Martin been beaten? Hasn't Frank Martin been stopped? So how does it move the sport forward, Keyshawn versus Frank Martin? I heard one brother say, well, the fight to make is Hitchens versus Keyshawn. They were all sitting together in Atlanta. Them dudes not fighting, y'all. Hitchens ain't fighting. The only way Hitchens fights Keyshawn is if, number one, Top Rank forces Keyshawn to fight Hitchens. It ain't happening. Keyshawn is afraid of losing. Shakur is afraid of losing. But this is what we're dealing with. Now we're going to watch this over the next few weeks, or we're going to watch to see if they allow Fury to come back on U.S. soil. If they allow that man to come back on U.S. soil and fight in Madison Square Garden, every black American fighter should petition that all of their all big fights, because we can't have all of them in Atlanta, but all big fights with fighters who are fighting within the top 10 rankings of any organization come to ATL, and we need to have our way. Because what they're telling you is, family, we don't care if we unalive you. The same way all of these unalivings are from ropes hanging from trees, and they're saying that all of them are self-inflicted without even doing an investigation and an autopsy first. This is the language that is spilling into the sport of boxing to let you know, even if you're cheated against, even if you are unalive and later it comes out that that person's probably been microdosing when that person was unalive, there will be no slap on the wrist. They will let a foreigner come into our country, cheat against our fighters, and be no repercussions. This is what these state commissions, people on these boards are allowing to happen. Listen, family, this is nothing that Coach is making up. This is nothing that I'm making up. This is happening. This is happening. They're telling you to your black face, we hate you so much. We want you all off the top of the sport so much. We want to take away your leveraging power so much. We do not care if somebody from London, if somebody from Australia, if somebody from Mexico, if somebody from Europe comes over here. I already said, okay, comes over here and cheats, comes over here and microdosing. It's so disgusting that American boxing fans have made excuses for the PEDs that are the substances that are found in the blood of some of these fighters. Now all of you are experts talking about, well, that performance enhancement drug isn't made for power. It's not made for endurance. It's made for recovering after workouts. Shut up. These are cowards. These are enemies, and you all should never side with your enemy. You all have too much smoke for your own. Y'all had all that smoke for Brian Norman Jr. and Brian Norman Sr., saying that Brian Norman Jr. needed to get away from Brian Norman Sr. And you all celebrated when Brian Norman Jr. fired his father. The General 78 Sports TV is the only person other than Max Kellerman that I heard on a big platform bring up the fact that Teofimo Lopez needs to get away from his father, and that his father is a problem and a poison. Do you know how bad it look on all of you Negroes who every day got something to say about Claressa, every day got something to say about Devin Haney, every day got something bad to say about our own fighters, but you let Max Kellerman be the one to champion? So, and what's going to happen now is, when things hit the fan, they're not going to point back to a brother who brought it up, because that's one man. They're going to say, Max Kellerman was the first one to say something. The walls are closing in, family. I don't know if you all have realized, but more sisters, this young generation of sisters who got their head on right, are making videos on TikTok, Facebook, and they're questioning. They are questioning the problems that we're having between the men who want the liberation of our people, the respect of our people, and the men who are tokens, the men who are self-hating, the men who only have energy for each other. You see a brother walking down the street that don't look like he's from there, and you say, I got to go check him. I got to go see what he's about. I got to go see where he's from. But Connor, walking down the street, looking like Jeffrey Dahmer, you don't say nothing to him, do you? You don't say nothing to him. So I'm happy. I'm happy that Claressa Shields did what she did. But now I got to get back to work, because now we have another issue at hand. We need to see if the powers that be in American boxing are going to allow this man Tyson on this soil, and what we need to do as the boxing community if it happens. Something for you all to think about. Comrades, I thank you all for listening. Stay tuned. Press that like button, subscribe, share. We are almost monetized. Peace to the family. Peace to my comrades. And it is always smoke to the COINTELPRO boxing fan. Peace.